Chris Billy, Huddersfield Town. The most famous goal of Chris Billy's life.
Is this the moment for Lee Fowler? It is. Take your place in Division 2, Huddersfield Town.
Thank you.
Ruby and Steve Simonson's boots now. He's missed. Steve Simonson clears the frame of the goal and collapses in a heap of tears. Huddersfield Town are promoted.
Skipper Schindler has a chance to write his name in Huddersfield Town legend. And he takes that chance!
Hello and welcome back to the Andy Takes That Chance podcast, 187 episodes deep into the main podcast, which puts us just 129,813 episodes short of the longest running broadcast in the UK, which is the Shipping Forecast. Will we beat 130,000? Absolutely not. This is probably our final season, but hot on the winds of Storm Babette, not sure why they let Kell Brook name a storm, comes the show with the most hot air this side of the great North-South divide. This week was either going to be This week was either going to be rain or shine for Darren Moore as he went searching for his first win as Huddersfield Town manager and duly got what was a huge 3 points for Huddersfield Town because temperatures were starting to rise in HD1. Joining myself is the typhoon to my earthquake and someone who won't get the natural disasters reference at all is Richard Kosi Kosmala, and rounding up a power trio is a man recently back from the USA. It's the Texas Tornado himself, Johnny Gillespie. How are we doing, boys?
Good, Matt.
Thank you.
There was some kind of podcasting awards for like football, and I think Rotherham lads got a table. Where's that? Where is ours?
It actually, the FSA relies on fans of podcasts to vote for their favourite podcast, and we've been going 5 years, and not one single person has put us forward with a vote. So there we go. So popular we are. So
there's the answer. Yeah.
Didn't get the reference, did you, Cozzy, with the typhoon and earthquake thing? I don't think, did you?
And that Kell Brook one, mate, that one the best.
You got the Kell Brook. No, that'll do. That's more than I usually get from me. So that's fair enough.
50%.
Right. So this episode, as always, is sponsored by Magic Rock Brewing. If you use our code of AHTTC10 online, you will get 10% off all of your online orders. And remember to get down there on match days as well. Like this Tuesday night, forthcoming against Cardiff. Say hello to big lanky shithouses like Brady, a.k.a. Frosty the Podman, and maybe myself and Kosi Bear. Who knows? Right, guys, let's get into Huddersfield Town 2, QPR 1. Darren Moore's first win as Huddersfield Town manager. Moore made a couple of changes. Tom Lee's in for the injured Josh Ruffles. Josh Koroma as a left wing back to give Yuta Nakayama a rest due to being on international duty. And we saw a start up front as well for Cian Harratt. Town came out of the blocks fast, like they did against Ipswich, and got off to an absolute flyer. Jonathan Hogg winning the ball in midfield. Radoni taking it from Dr. Bergzorg and threading a great pass through to Harratt, who I thought was offside in the ground, but having watched it back, he wasn't. He was level. Brilliant run from Cian Harratt. And he scored with practically his, it was his first and second touch, wasn't it? But great to get his first league goal of the season for Cian Harratt. And I think it's a chance that he's fully deserved, isn't it, Johnny, for the work he's put in Cian Harratt?
Yeah, absolutely. It's nice to see hard work, endeavour, running down balls, creating chances, coming to a goal. It's a goal I think he should have scored, but he makes a run, he looks for it, he takes a good first touch, gets it under and slots it past an experienced keeper as well. So yeah, you can see in his celebration how much it meant to him. Not saying anyone celebrating a goal doesn't like it means a lot, but I think it meant that extra little bit more to Cian Harratt. So hopefully, just say a bit like Radoni last year, he gets one and he gets a bit of confidence, starts to play a bit more naturally, and we start to see a few more come. You forget he's only 21. I think he's been around for a while. And I think when the commentator mentioned him as a 21-year-old in the commentary on the highlights, it just makes you think he's only 21. So scoring in the Championship, yep, only one goal, but at 21, it's definitely a good start to his young career as a Huddersfield Town player.
Kosi, remember every time we're in the Championship and Brennan Johnson would score or do something for Nottingham Forest, it would flash to David Johnson. And it was incredibly mind-numbingly dull, wasn't it? But I tell you what, if the Sky cameras cover us next time, I really hope they flash to Cian Harrett's dad, because he's great entertainment in the crowd when he's on full form, and you can see the whole Harrett family absolutely loving what's happening with Cian getting in at Huddersfield as well. My little lad got a picture with Cian as well a couple of weeks ago, which was really good. He was a really, really nice lad as well when we met him. Great to see, isn't it? Players coming through the academy or what's left of it and taking a chance, and that's what it was about really for Cian Harrett, wasn't it? He had a chance and he took it really, didn't he?
Quite the turnaround, Matt, because obviously his career could have gone. He could have been at Brickhouse after what happened at Bradford. Came back in a bit of shame, let's be fair. And then it's like the hard word. It's like, do you want to, professional footballer? Is this, do you want to, is this what you want to be? You really want to kind of knuckle down on all my days? That has happened. It's lovely to see. Obviously, Neil Warnock and him had a bit of a bromance, and he got the best out of him, did Warnock, and it's continued this season as well. His attitude has been really, really good. When you kept hearing, it impressed me in training, on the training ground. This is a guy who brings his A game into the building 7 days a week. If obviously I don't train that many times and play, but so it's really, really good to see. And I had a feeling there'll be one or two changes to the team yesterday, and pleasing to see Cian Harrett take his opportunity and a lovely finish. And I took a lovely picture of the goal. It shows some kind of guys in, you call it crackpot corner, don't you, or what have you, bottom tier. Some people call it the jungle, don't you?
I don't call it crackpot corner. Don't get me in trouble with people. I've never called it that in my life. The jungle is what I know it.
Yeah, the jungle and that as well. But yeah, absolutely fantastic.
Getting me in absolute danger here.
There's some characters down there, let's be fair. But yeah, brilliant, and what a start. But you know what, Matt? When I walked into the ground, when I was travelling to the game yesterday, right? If they had 98% possession, 50 shots, we cheated, we dived, we did everything we could. We got the most blatant Maradona style. But all I bothered about yesterday was winning. I couldn't care less if we played well. The game was massive. We had to win at all costs. At any cost yesterday, we had to walk out there as winners. I was saying to people at work, if I don't walk out of that ground at 5 to 5 or 5 o'clock on Saturday as a winner for Huddersfield Town, there's a big issue. So there's a lot of, obviously a lot of traffic about the performance, and so many people I've seen pipe up on our social media, when obviously the club, what a goal and what 3+3 and all this lot, but people are not having it. But for me, mate, this game, with what's coming up, we had to win whatever it took, however we did it, we had to win. So I wanted an Ipswich style performance, but I think it was all about winning yesterday, Matt, and that I couldn't care less, about justice and how we did it. We had to win, and we did, and obviously we're going to come on to later on in the game, but honestly, the texts I've got, the messages, it was this, it was rubbish, Moss taking us backwards, blah, blah, blah. They were crap. They should have done this. If QPR deserved this and that. Couldn't give a shit. We won, and that's all that mattered yesterday, mate. We can build on that.
Yeah, I agree with that. And let's talk through the game as well. Town went 2-0 up in the 14th minute. It was a bit of a whirlwind start, wasn't it? And you could see the work they put in during the international break on the training ground, because both goals were very much off the training ground, weren't they, with second and third man runs. It was decent football, really. Radoni's pass was superb for the first one. And then the second goal, again, Ben Wiles does quite well on the right-hand side. He's played it to Sorba Thomas, and Sorba Thomas continues to impress me, because we're just saying off-air, it was like we're a radio show, just before, weren't we? When Sorba was creating a lot of chances back in the Carlos Corberán playoff season, it was all set pieces, wasn't it? Pretty much every chance he created was a corner or a free kick, but he's creating much more in open play now, which is really good to see. And we've seen, an advancement, if you like, in his game. And we saw it again. He's instead of just what he'd have probably done a few years ago, he's just flashed it across the box between the defender and the keeper. And if there's no one there, everyone goes, oh, and it looks a great cross, but nothing happens. But he's picked his head up and he's picked out the incoming Jack Radoni, Jack Radoni, as David Hartrick likes to call him. And I expected him to sort of hit the keeper, and he kind of just placed it in, and it looked like weak goalkeeping at first from my angle from Begovic, but it's actually quite a good finish when you watch it back on TV. It's a really nice finish with his less favoured right foot as well. And just a couple of stats. That's his third goal of the season. And in 12 games, he's managed to beat last season's tally already, which is progress of Jack Rodoni. He got 2 in 46 last season. He's got 3 in 12. If he carries that on, so if you extrapolate that across the season, then he's looking at double figures. And that would be an absolutely unbelievable return, wouldn't it, if he carries this form on through 46 games. And I think everybody's really pleased with him. But one person who was quite pleased with him and tweeting effusive praise was Mr. Kosmala. I mean, we've mentioned him, haven't we, in weeks gone by, and I've done bits on him, but you were particularly impressed with him yesterday, weren't you?
I were. Just going back to Sober Thomas, Matt. So I moved my seat yesterday in the Kiln. I sat right on the front row. Just fancied having that kind of pitch side view. And Sober Thomas's work rate is fantastic, Matt. And the number of times he was getting in and pressing people, tackling, stuff we would never have seen for him before, in my opinion. He really seems to be got the bit between his team. The crowd were responding, which were really nice. There were people as well, kind of the front viewers getting there, Sober, brilliant work rate. Because you know what it's like with Huddersfield fans. They just like to see, good effort, good work rate, and people putting in a shift. So massive kudos. Obviously, the quality that he's delivering from the byline and things that he's doing is brilliant. But I just want to kind of shout out the work ethic that Thomas has shown. And it was really interesting hearing Darren Moore talking about him in the press conference, where he would kind of mention he wants to, work with him to get him back in the Wales team. And he kind of said that he's a bit of an interesting kind of character. I think Sober Thomas were asked, like, I can be a bit, I don't know, it's maybe hands-on or whatever, but maybe need a bit more.
Never prick.
Yeah,
maybe. Without saying it.
So it's great. It sounds like he says when Darren Moore talks, you listen. So it's great, mate. We seem to have that kind of buy-in, and the results are there for all to see. Rodoni, fantastic, mate. I thought we were outstanding, head and shoulders above anyone on the pitch, and then he both stripped to me yesterday. But it's just the way he just kind of he glides forward, and he wants to take a risk, wants to get a pop up a shot as well. I know one wanting about 10 goals, obviously, when he were here, but I think he'd do even better than that, Matt. He looks like a player now to me. Again, I've mentioned it a few times, but he just stands out. Other clubs, I think, will if he keeps going at this rate, in January, might be testing Mr. Nagel's kind of patience and cheeky bit. But I love it, mate, because he just plays the game with a smile on his face. Is everything about it. I love his celebrations, everything. Just looks like he's enjoying life, mate. And for someone who had such a tough start, it's pretty impressive. It's not like it's just been a bit like when Thomas came and it was great from the start, and then obviously he had a dip last season. This was different. He went a year without a goal, did he, pretty much, and he's playing in League One. He's moving from London to the north. I know people are going to say, "Oh, get your violin." No, he's a footballer, but these things matter, mate, when you're settling in the club. So all credit for him, mate, to still keep working hard, pushing on. Obviously, Easter, when it kind of started to erupt, that goal at Watford, and he really looks, in my opinion, one of the best kind of midfield forward players in the division at the moment, mate. And yeah, I'm excited for his development. It's brilliant to see, and love better finish definitely, mate. I thought he was a good one at the time. When you look on the replay, really good. So yeah, them two guys, they're when you look at kind of as attacking player and that. So them two, for example, if they got injured and were out for a few weeks, we'd be in deep shit, mate.
Just going back to our season review at Magic Rock with Radio Leeds and Utabia, we got asked who was our signing of the season. That kind of went a little bit left field because everyone obviously was going to say Helik, and he probably was. I did say Rodoni, based on the last kind of 5 games, on what that means he could go on to do this season. And I think, like I say, if he kind of puts out the figures that, do you know what I mean, like extrapolating it out, what he suggests he might be doing and the importance of he is in this team, he could turn out to be really the signing of last season because of how well he's done this season. And like I say, we talked around hoping that would be the case based on what we got to see towards the end of last season. I think Kosi makes a good point that people kind of forget that footballers are robots. There's a lot of things going on off the field. A lad of his age, moving away from home, he's obviously quite a family orientated person. You see that from, things on Instagram with his parents and his brother. He's quite a homeboy. So to move north and to be out of that close-knit circle, obviously operating down there, it is big. It's a big step up in the level he's playing as well. So to take a season just to settle in and kind of get everything aligned in the last kind of 5 or 6 games and take it into next season, I think it's kind of credit to him. And I think he's got a good opportunity to kick on and actually make it a really, really great season and kind of become that signing of the season, but maybe one season delayed.
It's definitely all pointing to all good signs to Jack Redoni. So touch wood that he keeps going in the same direction and no injuries befall him or anything. Because it feels like we're going to jinx him here and he's going to be out for 6 months with an injury. So hopefully nothing happens to Jack Redoni, because he has played a lot of games, hasn't he, over the last year or so. So and he's improving in every one of them. So well done to Jack Redoni. 2-0 up. Town then just went to sleep, didn't they? Pretty much just went to sleep. I'm quite conflicted as to why this is. It seemed that going 2-0 up, I'm not sure whether we sort of rested on our laurels or whether we were in a position whereby we're like, shit, it's 2-0 here and there's only 20 minutes gone. What do we do? And Town have historically, and this set of players, I'm talking about, the ones that have been here under Fotheringham, Schofield, Carlos Corberan, so, Lee Nichols, the back three, not so much Helik, but Pearson, Lees. Who else do we have? Josh Karoma, Sorba Thomas, Hogg. There's quite a lot of players here that have seen that, and they have been guilty over the last 3 years of going 1-0 up, going 2-0 up, and sitting back and inviting too much pressure, and then struggling to push back out. When the pressure becomes too much, and I think a lot of that is still down to not having that central midfielder who can pass out of places like that. And also, it doesn't help not having a main focal point striker either, just to take some of the pressure off. Because we've got Bergsorg, who does Bergsorg things. Sometimes it's wonderful. Sometimes it's utterly bizarre, like he did on the halfway line where QPR almost scored, where he tried to do some kick-ups and almost fell over or something. That was amazing. I'm pleased they didn't score because I can laugh about it now. But we don't have a number 9. You've got Harrett up there, who's a young lad. And Johnny made a good point in that you forget how young he is. And you also forget how few games he's started as well. And he's not the most experienced player up there. So to ask him to hold the ball up and bring others in and take the pressure off would be really unfair. He's probably a second striker you would have at the minute, someone who you would take the pressure off and let him do his thing in and around the box. So we really miss someone up there just to hold the ball, take the pressure off, bring others in, slow the game up, speed it up, and in midfield as well. So I'm a little bit conflicted as to whether it's a mental thing or whether it's just a lack of ability in some places, or whether we, Kosi, you mentioned in WhatsApp, pool on the rack kind of thing, didn't you? And it's difficult to finger point that. And all I could tell was it wasn't by design, because Darren Moore stood on the touchline barking orders, to get them to speed up, get out, speed up. So it definitely wasn't a tactical thing from Darren Moore. It just seems to be maybe an inner psyche thing with this group of players, whereby maybe they just kind of drop off, drop deep, and they're a little bit unsure what to do in certain things. And it happened under Carlos Corberan. Caught out by it. I think you go back to like December 21 and that Coventry game where we went 1-0 up quite early on. Danny Ward scored in 10 minutes, and we spent about 80 minutes defending our box, didn't we? And it seems to be a very Huddersfield Town thing that we've done over the last 3 years. And it was frustrating because QPR were there for an absolute thumping, weren't they? The first 20 minutes, they were there to roll over, get smacked around, however you want to say it. And we just took the foot off something chronic. And in the end, QPR deserved something from the game. That's how much it switched, how it changed. By the time QPR scored, though, Johnny, again, set pieces. I mentioned set pieces later on, but Town defended set pieces really poorly all game, and it wasn't a particularly wicked corner or anything. It was just a floater to the far post, and Jake Clark-Salter gets up above anyone, and everyone seems quite lead-footed, don't they, in some ways? And it's a really strange goal because it kind of happens in slow motion, and you're like, did they just score? What's just happened here? And they're running away, and 2-1. And to be honest, 2-1 maybe flattered us at that point.
Yeah, it was a strange goal. It was one of the ones you got to kind of watch back to kind of work out what happens, really. It takes a very strange corner. It's the same in the second half when is it Dunn gets his header on it. It just
Jimmy Dunn misses a sitter, doesn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, just loops it in, and it's then kind of like it's 50-50, isn't it? Who's going to win the header, really? It's not kind of like whipped in, which is always hard, really, from a defender's point of view. And it's looking at it, correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like it is Helik's man. But there's a QPR player who kind of backs into Helik a little bit, not a foul, but kind of makes it a bit more difficult. And the QPR, it gets so high, and you kind of think, well, I think even if Helik was uninterrupted, I'm not quite sure whether he'd be able to do anything with it, because it doesn't look like he's able to kind of get his head. And I don't know if that almost catches Nichols a little bit off guard, because he looks a little bit slow to react. But then I don't know whether it's hard on a replay to kind of like see how fast he was coming in. But the jump that he does is just unreal. He gets so high off the ground. Helik's kind of like pushed out of it. It's not a free header, but effectively is, because Helik doesn't even get off the ground. But they all kind of like just look at each other thinking, kind of, where's that come from? How's that kind of happened? And I think, like I say, in the ground, it was similar. It's one of those where you kind of like look at the ref and think, is it a goal? Like, it just seems a bit to come from nowhere. But yeah, I think with Pearson, Leeds, and Helik, we're probably in our strongest position from a defending point of view, and it's not great to see two opportunities where really they should be scoring, and from two set pieces. It is a bit of a worry, and it's something that I probably need to have a look at.
Yeah, I'm just watching it. Sorry, cause it gets floated to the far post, and Helik's with a guy who gets out jumped as well. It's Tom Lees who's got caught between two men. And I thought Tom Lees was quite good on the day, actually. I thought he was in the top 3 performances. But yeah, it's a strange one. It's like they've outnumbered us slightly at the far post. But go on, Cos, what were you saying?
You know what? They're the most frustrating things, Matt, because like you said, someone hits one from 25 yards, no chance of the keeper, okay. But it was a bit like a boxing game, wasn't it? We were hanging on. It was incredible how just the momentum totally changed, and Rangers were just really on top. And again, you look at one of those when you're looking at the clock and you're like 35, 37, 39, and you're thinking, come on, just 45 and we're done, and Mark can get in there and change it. But so it just knocked the wind out of everyone's sails, that goal. Just how it happened. Obviously, they'll be buzzing with their set piece goal, but so frustrating. But going back to what you were saying earlier on, Matt, it's unbelievable. Like which Kieran Arnott, obviously you can't knock the guy because he's doing the job. But he had 17 touches, mate, up front. 17 touches. That Ilias Chair, who I thought were absolutely superb, he had 80 touches. And I think one of the biggest problem is we've got totally agree. I mean, I've banged on about, and you have, Johnny, like just having that control in general, who can just put the foot on the ball and pass it, and that centre forward who can hold it up and bring a foul or take it away. But Bergzorg has been tried in there, but the trouble is he's coming straight back, and he had so much more possession. And I just don't see how, with the personnel that we've got, I don't think that's going to be rectified any time before January. If Moore, obviously wants to, play a bit more football and kind of play through them ranks as well. But it would obviously really good to see Harrett in, but it's like you haven't got, even if you bring Rhodes back, he's not that kind of guy as well. We just haven't got that kind of man,
Danny
have
Ward.
we?
Danny Ward's your
Ward, you're both yeah. But it sounds like that were another good thing from the press conference. I don't think he's too far away from I think when they say getting back on the grass, that's always professional, getting back on the grass. What have you?
But I'm sure David Wagner started that. I'm sure nobody said back on the grass before David Wagner came to England. I'm sure he invented that.
Good thing to see, but yeah, it's a bit embarrassing, really, though. When we're 33 now, we're desperate for a 33, but there's no one with this type that we've got. Odling came later on, but I don't think much were different then, to be fair. But yeah, I'm sure I'll be amazed if we don't go in for a. I mean, it's just that experienced head for me, Matt. That centre midfielder who can. Obviously, we've got Johnny Ogg in there, but he's not that kind of guy.
He's not a passer, really, is he?
No, he ain't someone like Conor Horan, or someone who's like. Well, obviously, he's League One now, so I don't know, if he's kind of what. But just that skill set, I don't think we've got. So it's a big issue, and unfortunately, it's not people who are going to hear this, but expect more of this between now and like January, because we ain't got them two different types of players to me to kind of make a game closed safe and stuff. We're always going to be kind of counter-attacking football, and I don't want to see that. And I don't
edge of the seat. Yeah, we're going to be edge of the seat, aren't we, till January, until hopefully.
Yeah, well, last time we had more possession than another team, I can't remember. We haven't. When?
Not sure, actually. I haven't really looked at that, but
yeah.
Let's talk about the second half. It's a tough watch, really, because neither team really. I thought Town were a little bit better second half than we were the last sort of 20 minutes of the first half, but marginally. there was only really one side, though, that looked like they were going to score a goal, and it wasn't us. Obviously, we didn't need to score a goal in the end, thankfully. But then we've got Mikhail Helik on top form, really. That second half won quite a lot. But that block, let's talk about that block, because I think it comes across it's Town's Achilles heel again on Saturday with a set piece that's come over, and we've kind of scattered a little bit, and it's fallen. I think it's Jake Clark-Salter again, isn't it, who hits the volley, and it hits the post, and it hits, and we're very fortunate because it hits Lee Nichols on the back, and it's that where it hits Lee Nichols as it's coming off, which has made Sinclair Armstrong up front have to readjust his body and have to move, and that just gives Mikhail Helik the split second in which to fly. It must be 6 yards he's covered there with that massive go-go gadget leg, and it's an unbelievable tackle, isn't it? It's shades of, do you remember Zanka against Man United where he came flying over and with that block against Man United where to stop it from being 2-2? It's probably the best tackle I've seen since then. Oh, when Congolo actually wiped someone out from Chelsea, didn't he, in the second Premier League season at home? That was an absolute beauty, although we lost 3-0. But just talk to me, boys. That tackle's just, it looked like it was a tap-in, and then all of a sudden the leg along Dal Sim is from Street Fighter 2's defended in the box for us.
What I love about watching that back is that you kind of do it really, really slow and just like pause and watch. There's a reason why he gets there first, is he's so much smarter than anyone else on the field, because he moves, I'd say, a good second, which is a long amount of time in that period before anybody else. And that's why he gets there, because he reads it so much. He's one of a few top close Town players. I wouldn't say he's the closest Town player. I think the closest might be Radoni, so I forgive him because he's not minded in that way. He's more attacking. But he just reads it so much quicker, and that's what gives him the ability to get there. But he's still got so much to do. Like I still don't quite understand when he gets his leg round. And even in making contact with the ball, he's then still got to watch where he's putting it, because he's all right being quicker mentally, getting there physically, and then just putting it in your own net. You may as well not bothered. So there's so many things he's got to do so quickly that it just shows amazing technique, but also defensive mindset. Like I said, the best defenders don't get the shorts dirty. He probably did doing that, but it's that kind of mental side of the game, reading the game, recognising the day, and you're seeing it quicker than anyone else. And that's the only reason he gets it, because he's just smarter than anyone else on the field at that moment in time.
It was a sensational, mate. One of like the champagne moments, as I say, in cricket of the seasons for me so far. Because again, as mentioned, I was sat in that front row on the killer, and when it came off the post, Matt had given it up. I had given it up, mate. Luckily, Mikhail Helik hadn't given it up as well. It's absolutely sensational. And then the looks of the Rangers players are like, how has that not got in? And you've got to be honest, haven't you? That 2-2 then, mind you, knowing Town, they'd probably win 3-2, but it's 2-2 then. You're thinking it's probably only one winner at that point, and because their fans were, doing the old, oh, should be, we've had a shot and we've had a corner and all that. So you know where their mindset was. So to give them a leg up with a cheap goal and then that, it'd been catastrophic. But yeah, and Helik, like if it's someone like Levi Colwell, you associate with, a bit more quicker, agile, a younger kind of guy. But I don't, obviously sometimes, we've seen Helik this year kind of maybe beaten for pace, but it's just that quick thinking, smart thinking. I think sometimes defensive stuff is not celebrated as much as, like when you see a goal, the Thunderbats, as you call it, off the bar and stuff. That, for me, that's going to be one of the moments of the season, no matter what happens, which says a lot for Town, really, doesn't it? That it's
someone actually tweeted and said, someone tweeted when we've sort of posted it on last night. I posted that on social media, took it from a QPR fan who'd put, how did we not score on there? And it's just an amazing tackle. And someone's retweeted it and put, this is as good as a goal. And he's right, isn't it? It pretty much is as good as a goal. It's just an unbelievably
it's exactly the same
moment.
Because if he's not there, he scores, isn't it? So it's exactly the same as a goal.
It's unbelievable. One thing that does worry me, Matt, that, again, you're more stat-based than me, where I get access to some good stats for work. They had 30 crosses to our 5 in the match. 30 crosses. One more corners than us. But I'm getting really worried with Matty Pearson. Obviously, the back three getting exposed and out wide. I want him shoved in the middle, but I don't. He's obviously he's got his back three, but the number that he's doing as good as he can. Don't get me wrong, but it does worry me. It's just there were times where they were like really going for him with the pace. It does worry me, especially with Leeds him and with their pace up front as well. But I mean, he's doing Herculean effort. There's times where he's getting a start, and the guys are beating past him, and you're thinking when it's going in the box, it's don't lunge in or don't give a free kick. It's an issue for me, that, mate, if we're playing that way.
Yeah, so I thought Pearson did okay, to be honest. I thought there was those moments where I know he's not the quickest, but I thought defensively he did all right. He uses his body well, does Pearson, so when they run at him, he can get his body between the ball and the player really quickly, and he did that a couple of times. He's not as good as Helik, is he? Helik's our best defender. I think that's quite an obvious thing. But I think there's a lot to like about Matty Pearson, apart from when we mixed it up a little bit second half, didn't we? And we decided to play out from the back, and in particular Lee Nichols to Matty Pearson was probably not the best option. although what was really weird is QPR didn't press us because they knew we couldn't pass the ball anyway. And we still gave it away, which was
one where passed it to him. He passed it back, then Nichols just sliced it into kill the bank with his wrong foot. It's like, what are we doing here? But the
thing is, it goes back to that lack of number 9 though as well, mate. Because when when it was going along, QPR were winning it all day, and we were winning nothing up front, and it was just they were winning the ball there. It's just the thing is, do you want QPR to potentially win the ball in your final third or their third? So you've got to make that.
Yeah, man, how nice was that kit though? Reminded me back peak QPR back in the day. Let's finish. What a proper kit that is. Red and black stripes. I love that, mate. Oops.
Like ours when we had a good one, didn't we? In the Premier League. I like a good red and black hoop kit.
Yeah, me too, mate.
Right, so bring you in a second here, Johnny, because now my mate Tom has caused a furore on Twitter because he told me a couple of weeks ago that he thinks Championship opinion than the Championship version of Christopher Schindler. And I thought, do you know what? Interesting sort of point of view. I'll throw that out there and see if anyone agrees. And Jesus Christ, it's like I've really upset some people by tweeting this. I mean, we're judging them both on Championship standards, not Premier League, because Premier League Christopher Schindler was incredible. Absolute Rolls Royce. I still remember him, some of the tackles he put in against Aguero when we played Man City were just unbelievable. He was unbelievable in the Premier League. But in the Championship, I think it's fair to say that Schindler was better for us in the Premier League than he was in the Championship. He got Player of the Year 2 years running, didn't he, in the Premier League? So I think that backs it up. But anyway, he said he thinks Helik and Schindler are the best two that he's seen in the last 12 years, best two centre-backs. So it's not Schindler bashing by any stretch. So I stuck the poll up, and I really like them both. I'd probably give the nod in the direction of Schindler, if I'm honest. Taking away the whole Premier League thing, I would probably slightly go Schindler. But I love Mikael Helik as well. I think Mikael Helik's I think Schindler looks a good player. He's very smooth in everything he does. He's the archetype Rolls Royce defender, whereas Mikael Helik's all sort of arms and legs, and it probably looks a little bit ugly with what he's doing, but it's so effective at the same time. So I don't think the test is quite as pleasing with Mikael Helik. But so I had a look at the data as well, and it's really difficult to compare the defending of a team who are in the top 6 against someone who's in the bottom 6. Really, it's a very different type of defending that you do as well. The games are very different. We were very possession oriented under David Wagner, under Neil Warnock. We didn't want the ball. It's completely the opposite ends of the scale in every metric. But I've done it anyway because that's what else would we talk about for the next 10 minutes? And let's have a look at Helik's stats. So Helik's stats last season are phenomenally good. In terms of, so this is for all Championship centre-backs who've played. Is 9th, or was 9th in most tackles, 10th in most interceptions. This is WhoScored.com data. And he was the best centre-back in the Championship last season for clearances and second best for shots blocked. That shows a very specific type of defending we were doing. It's very last ditch, isn't it? It's very we're very much under the cosh in some of that. And you compare that to Schindler in 2016-17. Schindler was second in the Championship for most tackles, although interestingly was the 8th most dribbled past centre-back in the league too. So he was obviously very busy. 4th in interceptions, but then he's 18th in clearances and 30th in shots blocked. But again, the data there is because Huddersfield Town were a better team with better players and he didn't have to do as much. So Helik got Player of the Season. Schindler finished 4th in Town's Player of the Season that year. So in terms of stats, it ends up being 2 each in that sort of season. But Helik's got a better aerial win record of 65% to Schindler's 56, and Schindler actually lost for a centre back in 16-17, which was quite interesting. Like I said, I think a lot of it maybe is misleading due to the amount of defending Helik's had to do in the last year, and it's like I say, it's very difficult to compare them both. But for me, imagine them both together. That is the exact sort of daisy, as Dave Hartrick calls it, a daisy and a dolly, which I still don't know what that means, Dave. Where you've got your agricultural or your uncompromising Michael Helik, and you've got your smoother Schindler next to him. And for me, that's a brilliant partnership that would have been phenomenal to see. 2 defenders with different skill sets. And I actually looked at Schindler's stats the season we came down under Danny Cowley, because that's probably more comparable with what Helik's had. And Schindler's stats are actually really good, because I think the thought process behind Town fans is when we came down, Schindler probably wasn't very good but it was joint second again in most tackles in the Championship, 20th in interceptions, which again shows the difference. We've gone from a high line under David Wagner to a lower block under Danny Cowley, so the interceptions are going to be lower. He's 5th in clearances, 9th for shots blocked, and aerially he's jumped up to 64%. So actually stats are better than when we got promoted, which is really, really fun. And it actually shows that, stats can be interpreted and moved in a number of different ways. But I just thought the comparison between the two isn't as silly as I seem to think it was online. We've got a very, very good defender in Michael Helik, and I think maybe sometimes I don't think Town fans 100% appreciate how good Michael Helik is, because maybe he doesn't look like a Schindler or some of the smoother ones of the past. He's, like I say, he's a bit more arms and legs. But for me, that they're my 2 favourite centre backs as well. I do love Michael Hefele, I'll be honest. I think Michael Hefele is possibly the most underrated Town player of the last 20 years. They're the best I've seen in quite a while. And I absolutely love them both. I think they're both great. And Jonny, I don't think it's a daft comparison that my mate Tom, shithousing him, has made, really. And I think you can argue that. And I've put a poll out, despite the anger it's caused. I think 30% have actually said they prefer Michael Helik, which is quite interesting.
Yeah, it is. I did very similar to you, and thought, well, in my opinion, I think it's a valid question. But what do the stats say? And it was interesting to kind of see how comparable they are. I did get one stat, not to repeat what we've just been through, which I thought is quite important. I'll read it just so I don't get it wrong. But it's penalties to win promotion. I got Helik as 0 and Schindler as 1. So I think that might be a little bit as to why
that tip in the balance
so much more on top than Helik. But yeah, Joey, he's got that kind of can't do anything wrong kind of relationship as him with the fan Schindler. But I think, like I said, to see them together would be incredible. But certainly, if you kind of really listen to the question and actually put it as Schindler in the Championship and try and ignore those 2 Premier League years where he was exceptional, there's not a lot between them. I even think with Helik, he does have that little bit of quality. One of the things I love about his game is where he shapes the pass and like just rolls it, just a quick Cruyff turn and changes the play and knocks it left or knocks it right in the opposite direction. He gets a striker every time with that. So he has got a little bit of class to him as well. Helik, he's not kind of like he's not kind of
he's not a clog.
Just heads it.
No.
Yeah. And he's a player that's grown as well, because if we cast our minds back to when he first came in, like he wasn't really not 100% fit, and he kind of did struggle. And a few people, even ourselves were a bit like, is he all that? What have we quite signed? And we listened to Barnsley fans who kind of said, you've got a good one. And do you know what I mean? They were right. So even he's had to develop a little bit, not kind of so much on the step up, because he did a season in League One, but he'd done Championship previously. But he's a player that's growing and has continued to grow in quality. And I think we're quite lucky to have him. Really, he's definitely those players you pick out that would have a price on their head or a head and shoulders above others in that squad.
So would you give a slight nod to Schindler then over him, but love them both kind of thing, similar to what I've said?
Yeah, I think you would do. If you had to pick one and only one. But I don't think it's a stupid comparison. I think it's a very interesting question.
Go on, Kosi Bear, round it up.
Yeah, quickly. I think the 30% is really interesting, Matt. I think in the same way we've got, that Darren Moore, struggling to get on side with people because he's following a club legend in Warnock. You've got Schindler will always be a club legend, and he's played in 2 struggling town teams. Let's be honest, mate. So that's what I think is even more impressive. And I just think, to be honest, Matt, if someone said Michael Helik were available for transfer, I know you I think mentioned on the other pod that maybe is, I don't know, better days behind him, shall I say, but almost like, with his age.
I don't think that. I just think
I think there'd be a lot of clubs that want him, mate. But like you say, you'd have to.
There's a lot that'd want him, but I don't think he'd get the 7 or 8 million people were on about. That was
I think that's it. Yeah, because I think we're getting wild. God, selling players. Yeah. God, I'll be getting slaughtered with Town fans for a change. But no, mate, really like what he is, and hold my hands up. I were one of those because is he all that? And the Barnsley fans were crestfallen, weren't they, that way? Because there were rumours that we were going for him. Then he didn't look like we were going to sign him, so they were like, "No, we've kept him." And obviously he went. I know they got to playoff fans, so it didn't work out bad for them. But he's great, mate, and that's what I just think. When it's hard though, isn't it? Like I don't know when you played any sporting teams, but if you get sporting teams who are losing most of the games, to still have that quality, still have that attitude, still have that desire to I know you should want to be your best, but you know what football's like, mate. Some people don't put the shifts in, but you can never say that about Helik, and I do agree with you, mate. I think the fitness thing was the big issue last season, but love it. And I mean, don't you think Schindler's goal were priceless? But what about that one at Coventry, mate? Want that? Can't we do an highlights reel for that? Tom, get your cat through, mate. I want to see Helik's celebration, mate, when he goes to corner flag, man. But no, seriously, mate, what a signing. And isn't it frustrating now when you think about the money we're wasting in the Premier League? And yet, some of our better signings have cost next to nothing, really, haven't we? We're just getting. I mean, obviously,
one of my mates said Huddersfield Town are brilliant at signing players for under 2 million and useless at signing players over 2 million. I think that probably sums us up, doesn't it?
That's fact. I don't think we can be debated that.
Anyway, Jimmy Dunn missed an absolute sitter to make it 2-2. Town, like I said, struggled on set pieces all day, and hopefully that doesn't become a thing, because that's been a strength of ours over the last 12 months or so. But anyway, QPR felt a bit sorry for some of their fans. They're a little bit down in the dumps at the minute. And thankfully, one of them, despite being in the dumps, recorded the view from the other side for us. It's Ben from the W12 podcast. And here's what he had to say on the QPR game, or the QPR's performance at Huddersfield.
Hello, Ben here from the W12 podcast. QPR fan at the game yesterday. Just to give you a bit of a couple of minutes on the game and reflection and our viewpoint on the game. Disappointed, frustrated, often how we feel at the end of most games at the moment, especially in the last 12 months. The reality is you can't start any Championship game going 2-0 down after 15 minutes away from home. You leave yourself way too much to do, and that's what we did. I mean, we often start slowing games, and getting in the side of us is something that teams often do. It felt like Darren Moore had a bit of a game plan in the first sort of 15-20 minutes about getting in behind us, which you did really well. Got your opportunity to score the first goal, and then we're in such bad form. Confidence is so low that, if anything, it's surprising that we only conceded the 2 goals, really. I think, no disrespect to Huddersfield, but had we been playing anyone, if we'd been playing someone at the top end of the Championship, in that sort of 15-20 minute period, it could have been 3-4-5-0, which it has been before. But I think when we got going, we didn't. I mean, we looked okay, like we do, huffed and puffed. Didn't create too much really, but looked like a half decent team. I mean, the goal before half time obviously changes the second half, doesn't it? I think if you go 2-0 down into the second half, I think it may have been a different story. But frustrating, really. I mean, I'm not really too sure how we didn't score to make it 2-2 with a great tackle from Hogg, I think it was. Not sure, but the lad who stopped Armstrong from scoring. We missed a header right at the end, point blank. I don't know what's happening there. And just some odd subs from Ainsworth kind of nullified the game, really, I thought, to the end. But yeah, Huddersfield, I thought you started really, really well. And then we just sort of came at you, and it felt like you were quite happy just to sit back, which you probably shouldn't have done. You could have kept coming at us and get us on the counter. Having said that, I really liked your three centre midfielders are always going to give you a good performance, aren't they? And I like the Harrod lad up top. I'm not sure if he's a young lad, but he was causing problems throughout the game, really. And a good goal, good finish. If I'm honest, probably two fairly poor Championship sides there, and it could have gone either way. But yeah, good result for you lads, and we're in particular trouble, big trouble actually, with Ainsworth. Really, he hasn't really got a clue what's going on at the moment and how to stop this slump that we're in. I think it's 34 games in charge and we've lost 23, I think, something like that. It's outrageous, really, and one win in going on 13 months at home. But yeah, enjoy the rest of the season, and like I said, we'll see you in the reverse fixture later on in the year. Cheers.
You can feel the pain, can't you? This is what football does to us fans. You can feel the pain in poor Ben's voice there.
The Harrod
what
lad,
we'll do,
I like that though. If it were a greyhound, the Harrod lad, or a horse, something, the Harrod lad. That's yeah.
Right. What we'll do anyway, we'll have a quick break, and then we'll come back and we'll round a couple of things up. Right. Okay, we're back. Thanks to crafty editing there, and I'm sure we've had some very exciting adverts in and amongst from YouTube and Acast. No idea what they are. I wonder if it's still the McDonald's ones we did Kosi back a while ago. That was a class.
A new career. We're heading for my way, Matt.
Oh no. Well, mine certainly wasn't. We suggested a few to TalkSport and they just went nah. So we had to record the normal stuff, but never mind. Okay, so tickets. This was on the list to talk about. So all I want to say is thank fuck this was over quite quickly, to be honest, because it was becoming incredibly painful very, very, very quickly, making social media completely unreadable with the amount of shite that we were tagged in. Anyway, from those that went to the ATT panel and spoke with Jake Edwards, the CEO, apparently the story behind it was that Town's ticket office contacted Leeds back in July, August to say that we do the reciprocal pricing. Leeds said, whoa, hold your horses, come back to us closer to the time, bit early, lads. Town went back a couple of weeks ago and there was a discussion along the lines of Leeds asking if we did categories, to which we said no, we just charge £25 for everyone who comes here, which, to be fair, in my opinion, is the correct way to treat every club, and that is pretty much reciprocal pricing in a nutshell, making pricing reciprocal for every club that comes to the club, or everyone that comes to Huddersfield. Huddersfield said shake on 25 quid. The Leeds ticket office said we'll come back to you. Went to Angus Kinnear, who basically said actually no, we won't want to do that, so it'll be 47 quid. No compromise was apparently offered at that stage. Jake Edwards made contact with Angus Kinnear directly to try and resolve it. No idea what went on in those conversations, and I doubt either will openly tell anyone the exact details either, because they're both professionals, and the nature of the job they undertake will probably mean that we won't find out exactly. But anyway, after the furore online, both of them got their heads together and agreed on £20. So thankfully that was done, so we could stop being tagged in petty arguments from both sides. Both supporters associations have both come out and asked for a cap on away tickets, which is great. I fully agree with them on that. The Leeds Supporters Trust has really rallied hard, didn't they, against the Leeds board to get the reciprocal pricing in the first place after the release of the prices. So thankfully they managed to do that, because there was absolutely no way I was going at £47. I just wasn't going to do that. But anyway, Kosi, thank fuck that's over. And dare I say, I'll be saying the exact same thing come the game next week as well.
Well summarised there, Matt. Yeah, I think the good thing is it was shut down quickly, and the best thing was it was a beautiful surprise for me, who probably would have paid it, but don't have a go at me. But so what? It was unbelievable. Just I was kind of about 20 minutes away from kind of sorting the ticket out, and then on Twitter it says 20 quid. I'm like, happy days. But yeah, it is frustrating because obviously we saw it for 2 seasons in the Premier League. It was just lovely to know. You know what you're going to pay, like you said there for Town. Everyone knows what away fans are going to pay. You know that apart from when we do maybe them odd deals for £5 or whatever, you know it's going to be 25 quid. So it's frustrating, isn't it, when you're like away fans, because I'm thinking I'm right in saying Hull are cheap as well. I think Hull did 20 yesterday for Southampton.
Doing some good stuff. Doing some good stuff, Hull. Hull doing some
so they're pricing. But obviously, when you, it would have stunning news that one. I don't think anyone could believe it. So I think we were just all assuming we'd be getting 25 quid. So when it said 47, they were like, what? So yeah, but I think the good thing is, Matt, they're just like I say, frustrating, and stuff would have been. It would have doing my head in just for 2 or 3 days when it was open. Really, and the last thing you want to be doing going into a game like that is, press conferences with Darren Moore commenting on it, and then obviously Fark and stuff. Because if I were interviewing, I'd be like, Daniel, you're a German. Germans really look after that, But I don't think anyone really at least probably had the balls to do it. But bottom line is, mate, we've got what we wanted, and just hopefully, we can have a good day as well. And obviously, we took the extra 1,000 because I think we only got 2,000. It was interesting. A couple of people at work, big Town fans, were absolutely adamant we'd have sold 2,000 tickets. I thinking no chance.
No,
someone said to me 700. But it don't matter now. But yeah, it's 3,000 Town fans there next Saturday. It should be special. But I watched Leeds' highlights yesterday. Maybe I think I'll have to have a good drink before I go in. I think.
What do you reckon, Johnny?
Yeah, not much more to say, really. I guess you've got a bit of a beer fun, haven't you, to drown your sorrows or just numb them during the game. But yeah, it's one of the things. Club politics, that kind of side of things, it shouldn't get in the way of just charging fans the right price. My opinions are that Leeds prices are too high for home and away. I chatted to a few Leeds fans who once bravado dropped down, which always seems to spike when you try to challenge a Leeds fan. They were kind of like, yeah, actually, we're suffering at home as well as overcharging away fans. So it's good that this game's been dropped, but ultimately I feel for other fans that hasn't been dropped for, and the home fans that got to pay those prices, because it's too much to charge fans that whatever club it is.
Yeah, I think you're right, and hopefully the cap will come in, because if the supporters trust hadn't challenged the ball, it would have probably been 47 quid every game, and that's just ridiculous pricing. It's a ridiculous price point, isn't it, for second-tier football? And I think the moment that people start paying that, the moment it becomes the norm, because I think, Kosi, remember back in 2007, I think Leeds broke the 25 quid barrier, one of the first to break it, weren't they, outside the Premier, Ken Bates, and all of a sudden people paid it and 25 quid becomes the norm, and then it keeps going up and up because people.
I remember Sheffield United, I'm sure they charged us 31 man in League One a few years ago.
Oh, yeah. They did.
He might have scored that night. But yeah, I think the frustrating thing is it's just spiraled on. So Blackburn have not taken it because they know they can give Leeds that double decker stand and charge them, 42, 47 quid there, and then no Leeds will pay it. It's just,
I just won't pay it, mate. I just
no.
Why they do, and when you're doing well like they are, you want to go to every game and you want to soak it all up, don't you? Especially what's potentially a promotion season, you want to live it, that you want to live through it. But when you crap like us, it's an easier choice, isn't it? But
it's an awkward one.
47 quid.
Isn't it? I'll pay £1,700 for a mobile phone. Some people will say, "You what?" But that's me, mate.
Me and you are going to have words after this, Kosi, if you're paying 1,700 quid for mobile.
Yeah, it's something like that. Yeah, it's just not, maybe it's not the best for you to have, because it's almost like, as long as you keep doing that, they'll keep charging it for that phone. But I suppose it depends what it matters to, but then it's an old debate of everything. So probably better to move it on, mate. But yeah, at least.
This is why you need Pozza, isn't it? Because Pozza's the ultimate tight bastard. So, he'd be expecting a full family ticket, wouldn't he, for 47? But
yeah, he likes to go to Leeds to Poz, doesn't he? Yeah, he likes his trips to Leeds.
He sacked the game off, didn't he, to get hammered around Leeds on Saturday?
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And we won, so Poz, don't come back anytime soon, mate.
I know. Right, so we'll move on from that anyway. Some good news this week, Kosi. Town's current Academy Player of the Year, Tom Iorpenda, has signed for another 4 years. He was the 21st man on Saturday, involved with the squad, I understand. So he's definitely knocking on the door, and he's a player that, you've seen a couple of times in the B team, and for you, he's the only one that really sort of, well, is the main one, isn't he? That really excites you, isn't he, from that crop?
Yeah, it does. I do like how he likes to bring the ball forward. Not afraid to take a shot. Good engine, good energy. Yeah, it just reminds me so much about Philip back in the day of that as well. Obviously, a lot of parallels with his journey as well. So to get that, I think, again, it does annoy me a little bit where, like, it was nice news to be announced. And I get some people not inside B team players and stuff, but there was some shit comments underneath. It's just like, this is a guy, just get, have trust in, that we're offering the contract because he's good, length of time as well. So, yeah, we're at Brighton wanting Matt as academy days.
He was, released. There's a couple of them released from Brighton that we've picked up. There's I think Freddie Fletcher, the centre-back, is one of them as well. So, yeah, there's a couple of released from Brighton.
There at Brighton now, though, isn't it? It's not like the old days.
Unbelievable.
Jesus.
No,
mate, it sounds like it's going to be in sooner rather than later. I know, kind of more classic manager playing down a youth, a young prospect as well. If he keeps going and he keeps doing the hard work and blah, blah, blah. But I just, what, mate, when you kind of, you don't even have to watch Town. You could rock up to a junior football game or watch, I went to watch my friend's daughter play for Sheffield United under 21s and they were against Liverpool last Wednesday, and the players just stand out. You don't need to know them, do you? So, and now, like, to some of the Liverpool parents, like, oh, she, and she's like, wow, she's the next thing, she's going to be for England, like the winger that they had and that as well. And I think when you walk into a B team game, Iorpenda's like kind of, you just look around and think, yeah, that, this is going to be the guy. I think that we're, knocking on the first team door. So really good to see that. The fact he was, like you said, 21st man for yesterday shows that, obviously the hierarchy at Town are not afraid to, and I don't think more, he's going to be that kind of guy to be cautious and afraid. To be fair, Warnock won, mate. He's slung a lot of them in. So, and in midfield, obviously, with the QPR guy, we're buzzing about our midfielder. Less so for me, but maybe he could be I'm not sure he's kind of the general, the pass man, but he definitely, if you put him on the pitch, mate, something could happen, and that's what you want, isn't it?
I was waiting for Jonny to come in then, but I don't think Johnny's got much to add on that, do you, mate?
No, like I said, not more than what Coddy's covered. It's just good to see prospects coming through. Good to see us putting decent contracts around people we think that have got something about them, because we know other clubs will come and do the same or try and take them offers. And if we've got a decent contract in place, hopefully they'll stay, or if not, we'll be reimbursed at the right value to reinvest. So I've not seen him play, so I can't really comment in that regard. But I think from a business point of view, if we're kind of protecting our assets and putting players that deserve it on decent contracts, then we're doing our job.
Yeah, he's a good little player. He's not billing like 6'5", 6'6" or anything, is he, Kosi? But he's got the billing hair, hasn't he? He can carry it, he can pass it, he can spot little angles and stuff. He's a nice little player, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He is.
Yeah, good little
not afraid to shoot, mate, as well. And I love, frustrates me, some of our players. That's why I'm chuffed with Radoni. He seems to be wanting to gamble. I'd never knock him at the player who, pops off a shot, even if it goes wide. Because, like, I don't know. I just think it's just a Town thing. We don't shoot enough, do we? It's through the years. I don't, number of times, it's just what we do, innit? We always try and pass when we could shoot. But
are you one of these people when Jonathan Hogg picks it up on the halfway line, sat there going, shoot? Yes, you're one of those, aren't you?
Do you remember that header he scored? I think it was against QPR. Actually, and that, well, yeah, and although, you were, we're really good. I'm sure it was that Bank Holiday Monday game in the playoff season. Hogg, I think did it come off him or something? I don't know. It was a bit.
No, he scored with a good header, didn't he? Get a near post run and flicked in. It was a good header that from Hoggy. Yeah.
No, I'm just one of those. If I were a manager, mate, someone's like had 3 shots and stuff. Unless there was someone blatantly unmarked, I'd never be knocking anyone, mate, because you want, if you don't buy a ticket, don't win a raffle, as I say, mate.
Right. So what we're going to do is we'll have a chat. So earlier this season, we from the podcast have sponsored a Huddersfield Town women's player, Beth Stanfield, and every now and then Beth's going to pop in and give us a little bit of an update on how Huddersfield Town women are getting on. I think they've had a lot of injuries lately and unfortunately lost 4-0 to Newcastle today. But this is Beth, and she's going to give a little update on how they've been getting on down there.
Hiya. Yeah, so it's been a tough month or so. Obviously, we've had some big losses. Most of those games, though, we come off the pitch feeling like they probably don't deserve to be that big of a scoreline, but obviously it doesn't look great. When you kind of look at those results, losing 4-0, kind of every game really. So yeah, it's been tough. It's been hard for me personally as well because I've been injured for the last just over 4 weeks, so it's been really hard having to watch from the sidelines and kind of refresh Twitter every Sunday if I'm not there watching, knowing that like I can't do anything to help or have an impact or anything. So yeah, it's been hard. It's a tough period that we're going through with a few injuries to players and those big scorelines, like I said. So obviously we started with the West Brom away game. We played at the Hawthorn, so that was a cool experience, but it's a shame that the performance from us didn't kind of match up to that occasion. It just wasn't a great performance, to be honest, from us that day. Just a bit lacklustre, and I think West Brom deserved to win that game, to be honest. Then we had the cup game against Stourbridge, and we won that 2-0. That was away. So that was quite a good victory. Obviously, they're in our league as well, so that kind of gives us a good idea of them as well for when we face them in the league. And then we had a tough week with Wolves on Sunday away. That's always a tough game because Wolves are a very, very good team. And I wasn't there at that game, but obviously I was watching it on Twitter, refreshing Twitter and things. And I think we were 4-0 down at half time, and 1-0 down after about a minute or so. So we gave ourselves a mountain to climb after that. And obviously, against a team like Wolves, you're going to struggle to put 4 past them, to be honest, to get anything out of that game. But there was a kind of a formation change, a change of shape at half time, and we drew the second half 0-0. So, we can show that we can match those teams, but obviously we gave ourselves a mountain to climb, like I said, being 4-0 down at half time. Then we should have had Forest midweek, but there was an issue with the floodlights. I got to the game about 25 to 8 and the lights were on, and then about 5 minutes later someone came into the dressing room and said they've gone off. So yeah, they couldn't get them fixed in time, so that game's had to be postponed, which was frustrating for everyone involved. And then again this weekend gone, we had Derby. Again, the scoreline looks bad, but we actually weren't that bad, I think. Especially, we're only 1-0 down at half time, and we had a massive chance in the first half to go 1-0 up. So I think it's just those kind of it's those fine margins, those kind of final decisions that we need to be better at. But obviously in the second half they scored quite early on, and that just kind of took the momentum out of everyone, really. It was a bit of a just kind of knocked the wind out of everyone, and it was really hard to get people going again. And then they scored quite quickly after that second goal as well. But yeah, so yeah, it's been quite a tough month, but the games don't get any easier. We've got Newcastle this weekend, which again is going to be a really hard game, but we've just got to try and be a bit more resolute, a bit harder to beat, a bit more determined, I think. And you never know, we always say in this league anyone can beat anyone, so I think we just need to start believing that a bit as well. So yeah, big game on Sunday. Get down if you can, but yeah, should be a good one. Cheers.
Yeah, it's been a tough month, September, for the women's team. Jonny, a couple of injuries, but they've just signed Layla Proctor from Man United, so that sounds interesting. Man United are one of the top teams, so hopefully that will spark a bit of a revival for them, and it'd be good to get one of them on the podcast as well. One of the ones that watches Town on a weekly basis would be good to get them on if they've been to the game, which would be Good. Although it won't be Beth because she supports Preston. So maybe we'll get her on after the Preston game if she goes. But Kosi has unfortunately left us. His broadband's gone off. So he has left the building just for now, temporarily. But we're at that time now, Johnny, where it's like an any other business round, isn't it? We've pretty much said all we need to say on the weeks gone by. And it's just really good, isn't it, just to get Darren Moore's first win under the belt, really, because it was starting to sort of weigh a bit heavy, wasn't it? There's some criticism was coming in for him. The football, apart from the Ipswich game, the football's been bad to watch. But hopefully that first win just generates that bit of confidence now, and the team can push on and start to produce just more wins. Because Cardiff's a big game, isn't it? We were half expecting Cardiff to be down at the sort of bottom 6 to 8, where I think a lot of people expect us to be. So that's a big game as well on Tuesday night. And then we've got Leeds next Saturday, 12:30 kickoff. Not a lot of people expect us to get anything there. And to be honest, we do look kind of tailor-made for, their pacey attacking lineup. So it's going to be a difficult one, is that. But so the result to beat QPR was outstanding. The more the merrier. Should I say the more of those the merrier, eh? And to use a Darren Moore pun, but yeah, it was massive, Johnny and Johnny, and it just kind of keeps the Wolves at bay a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, like with any manager, getting your first win is really important. The longer that goes on, the more pressure it starts to create. No more so than the game itself as well. It wasn't just a need for the first win. It was looking at what's been done after the international break, which is kind of a bit of time we gave him after the Wednesday game. So look, he's not had that time training because he's had Saturday, Tuesdays, try and look to work in between those with travel times, and he's got this time now to look to kind of implement some things. So that put a bit more pressure on him, because if he'd gone in and not really shown signs of anything and lost the game, then it kind of makes it even more difficult for him. And we've touched on that earlier, that we did see a few things come off the training field as well, so we can start to see green shoots from that. But also just the way that the fixture sat within the table. Reverse those 3 points, it really is a 6-pointer. In that sense, we are now 6 points above QPR, which is massive. So it just creates a little bit of a gap from us from that bottom 3. It's important to get and beat those teams around you. So for various reasons, pick one of those 3. It was a big game. Put all those 3 on the table. I'm sure Darren Moore is slept a lot better on Saturday night, having got the 3 points and beating QPR. So yeah, he needed to do it from various reasons, and hopefully now, like I say, we've got a winnable game on Tuesday night. I think everyone's a bit surprised by what Cardiff are doing. I've not really seen much of their play so far, but I don't think it's a team that we can't beat. No doubt Carl and Grant will score a brace against us. Now I've said that, and I think if we can get 3 points on, then I think we will just see what happens on Saturday. It's more just from a pride perspective. I think really don't want it to be too many goals, but there's every chance we can go and upset. It's a derby game. I mean, we've got players that will relish going to Leeds and leaving a few on some of their players. So I wouldn't necessarily count us out completely, but I think from a pragmatic point of view, we can get something out of the Tuesday game. It takes a bit of pressure off from purely statistical point of view Saturday, but you're never going to think that in a Town Leeds game for sure. But it just might make it a little bit easier to cope in what might come on Saturday if we can do something on Tuesday.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly looks good on balance. So it looks better for Darren Moore, because had Sinclair Armstrong put that ball in, where Mikel Helik makes the tackle and we draw that game 2-2, that would leave Darren Moore winless in what we're looking at here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games, and all of a sudden people are like, oh, he's not winning 5 games, etc., etc., etc. Really difficult, but we've got that win now. It's 1 win, 1 loss, and all of a sudden it's just like 1 loss in 5 now. So you can twist that a little bit and make it seem a little bit better. So if we get another couple of points this week, I think we'll all be incredibly happy and going in the right way. And that leads up to another big game really against Watford, who are down at that end. And if we can keep picking up points, it's what we need to do before January, where we absolutely have to strengthen the squad. And if we can just carry on plugging away, picking up points until then, and keep our head comfortably above water, strengthen, and then there's no reason why we can't finish the second half of the season in a much stronger vein and look to push on and push on for future seasons as well. And that's it. We'll end it on that positivity, shall we? And thanks to everybody that's listened this week. Thanks to Magic Rock Brewing. Thanks to Ben from the W12 podcast for the QPR side. Thanks to Beth Stanfield as well for the women's update, which was great. And that's it.
There's a team that is dear to its followers. The colours are bright blue and white. They're a team of renown, they're the pride of the town, and the game of football is their delight. And all the while upon the field of play, thousands loudly cheer them on the way. Often you can hear them say, who can beat the town today? And then the bells will ring so merrily, and every goal shall be a memory. So town, play up and bring that cup back to Huddersfield. So town, play up and bring the cup back to Huddersfield.